just try to be very specific. You cannot be ambiguous. In terms of, again, you have used this specific framework where you've talked about business benefit in terms of revenue growth, customer acquisition cost, market gain, which are your priorities. And you've also talked about customer delight. Again, customer delight you have talked about, and you've given 5 ratings to these things. You've talked about user engagement. You've given the highest rating to seller reviews. So again, how are you going to measure that? You want to increase adoption. Again, you've talked about engagement. You've also talked about adoption, and you've also talked about customer acquisition. So, I mean, I'm not sure if.
Customer acquisition is with respect to the business, and here increase in adoption is with respect to the user, that is the seller and the buyer.
So that is what I'm saying. So when you're talking about customer acquisition, what you're trying to say is, after, let's say you have 50 users on your marketplace, after having this particular feature, your users will increase from 50 to 60, right?
Right.
And then you're also saying that your adoption will increase. What does that mean? Your users are going to increase from 50 to 60. Is it the same thing that you're measuring twice? I don't know, because if you mean that your 60 users are going to do more sharing, do more commenting, do more likes, and that comes under user engagement. So how is adoption different from acquisition? I don't know. You have put it in different buckets, that is fine. But again, how, like, just be very like, I don't know, how is it different? Are you recounting this particular thing twice? So I'm just giving you overall idea of how to think. So just make sure whenever you're putting anything here, you make sure that it is exclusive, mutually exclusive things. Okay.
Right.
And rest, other than that, everything is fine. But again, what you miss and lack is, how are you going to measure the success? You have written payments and refund. How are you going to measure success? Or for you, payments and refunds is of the most highest priority. But if you don't have enough users, or you don't have good adoption, why would you want to focus on payments and refunds, right? So, like, I'm just giving another making a very open statement. After you've done your whatever prioritization, just make sure that the ranking or the top priority features that you have written should make sense. So if I just look at your top priority, which is payments, sharing on FB, and then UI placement, as what I am going to get a feel is, you already have enough users. That is why you are focusing on payments and refunds. So your goal is, your product is not in a place where you are trying to increase adoption or engagement. Okay, that is what I understood, because you're prioritizing this thing. Until and unless you have enough engagement and enough user base, that conversions is a problem for you. The second thing you have prioritized is sharing on Facebook, which is, after conversions you want to prioritize on adoption. And after that, you're prioritizing it's just a good to have feature. Again, I don't know what is marketplace UI placement, but what I'm understanding is, this is just UX improvements that you're going to do. That is why you've put it the third. Even if,
Right. Right.
but in your goal, what you wanted to do was, you wanted to improve active user engagement. But what you have is, you are actually trying to improve conversions and not engagement. I'm just I don't have the full plan here, right? Because your features are very high level. I don't know what those mean, but I'm just telling you, at the end of it, just make sure that whatever you're prioritizing makes sense with the earlier assumptions that you had made. It should not be in direct conflict with each other.
Right.
Okay. So, but nice job. At least on the user framework, you've done a good job. And in terms of breaking down the problem in a structured format, also you've done a good job.
Thank you.
Okay, and the last one is from I'm not sure who has sent me this. Let me just. Is Mohit on the call? I'm not sure if Mohit is on the call. Okay. Sushmita has sent me a message. If I have time, I can just walk through her assignment. I'll just check if I've received your assignment, Sushmita.
Sure, Tusha.
I don't think I have your assignments though, because I tried to pick up the best.
I have emailed you, Twisha, on tprasad.mim2015@gmail.com.
Mm, yeah, but okay, I got your idea. I got your email.
Shall I share the link on the message?
No,
I can do that.
I will just share my screen. I'll go through the assignment together with you because I haven't seen the assignment yet. So,
Sure,
can
sure.
you see my screens, guys? Sushmita, you can see the screen, the assignment you've sent.
Yes, yes, I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, again, object. You have written user acquisition, user engagement, and transaction. So, you have so many objectives. Ideally, you always want to prioritize one. So, the whole point of a product manager's job is
Yes,
to
prioritize one.
right. Okay, now customer base, good breakdown. Like, okay, good breakdown based on age, salary, and their intent. And again, users, very a nice breakdown on buyers, sellers, and Facebook, because a lot of none of you have mentioned about Facebook being a player here, but Facebook is going to be a player because they might start advertising and you might have a product from Facebook's end. So features for
Yes.
very nice breakdown of breaking down features for based on by the personas, because if you don't
Yeah, based on the user.
yeah, if you have listed down users and you have not mapped your features to those users, the whole point of that structure gets lost. So introduce subcategories, fair pricing model. Okay, buy now for customers to proceed, lead generation model. Okay, feature one, buyer is the user. Okay, again, first you want to talk about the pain point, the objective, and then you want to talk about the features. So here you've spoken about user keywords, product, like keywords are not optimized, right? That is the pain point you're talking about. But then
Yes, yes.
that you're talking about is introducing subcategories. So
Yeah, so that one actually I'm mentioning the name of the feature, Twisha. The solution part of it comes later in the next slide.
okay,
Yeah, so again, that image is the exact problem I want to highlight. There, when I search for the men's clothing, sarees are being displayed. That means the exact keyword matching is not there. So there, I want to first optimize it. That is the problem I'm talking about.
so in this case, why is your solution talking about subcategories and not optimizing for the keywords?
Yeah, so when I say subcategory, if you get in the solution bit of it, actually I'm talking about the grouping of categories so that the keyword matching can be easier, and also it makes sense for the user. Also, it is very easy to search the exact product they are looking for.
Okay, so yeah, so this is a good structure again, because you've broken down your solution, right? So you, what you have identified is, I would say, at a granular level, like if I, what you're trying to basically do is tell that the problem is in keyword, and at a granular level, when you're maybe talking to your developers or your team, what you're going to say is, let's do something, instead of just tagging it as sari or whatever, let's break down our subcategories, and then maybe you can, whenever somebody
Yes, so basically I'm trying to change the structure here, Twisha. means right now there is only category as one, as in like right now there is only category, but there are no subcategories or subcategories on the Facebook Marketplace.
But again, in that case, again in that I understood your what the solution is, but in that case you should say the problem is user keywords. You should say that the product, like if
got it. Okay.
like you cannot say that I'm trying to optimize for the keyword search. You should say that searching for a discoverability is an issue. Don't say that keywords are not correctly mapped, because if you're optimizing
product relevancy, I can put it in this way.
So you say that there's a discoverability issue. People are not being mapped to the right product with the right intent that they have in mind. Okay.
Agree with you.
Okay, now for on the seller side, okay, again like same feedback, try to put the pain point first, because I always look at pain point first before looking at a feature.
Sure.
Okay, because for me, I don't know what are you talking about, what the problem is it trying to solve.
And that makes sense. If I put pain points first, then you'll understand the problem, then you can it is very easy to comprehend the solution.
Right. So again, this I did not understand the exact solution that you are proposing, because you're talking about the pain point you're talking about is that you want to like you want the sellers to know what should be the price range of that product, right? You want to help the sellers. You want the sellers to be able to select a correct price range for the product while they are listing, right? That is what you're trying to do.
No, Trisha, the main problem I'm talking about here is fake negotiations. Means in most of the cases, seller won't display the price of the product. So what happens is the buyer keeps messaging. There are a lot of fake requests from the buyer's perspective, and the negotiations are way beyond the seller's expectation. So in that case, if we can have a price range, means like whenever the seller is uploading the product, he should able to mention the price, at least the minimum and maximum amount what he is ready to accept, and accordingly buyers can accept the request or they can start the negotiation. Now, like in most of the scenarios, the sellers are not displaying